Finish him.
Welcome to Hitman Boxing. Hit that like and subscribe button. So apparently Kell Brook and Terence Crawford are still in negotiations for a fight later this year. Now, Terence Crawford and his team offered Kell Brook a very low ball offer of $1.5 million for a fight. Kell Brook declined that, and he wanted closer to what Terence Crawford gave Amir Khan, which was $4 million. So Kell Brook is now asking for $4 million for a fight against Terence Crawford. And to be honest with you, Terence Crawford's promoter should take him up on that offer. Pay him that money. Because, again, who else are you going to fight, Terence Crawford? I mean, you already didn't want to fight Shawn Porter, didn't want to fight Keith Thurman. You know, there's people that want to fight Terence Crawford. But where's the disconnect? Another funny thing is, you know, if Bob Arum is doing justice to Terence Crawford's career, why was he unable to feed Manny Pacquiao to him? Why didn't Terence Crawford get a chance to fight Manny Pacquiao? Then you all say, oh, well, Manny Pacquiao priced himself out. That's bullshit, man. They could have paid Manny Pacquiao whatever since they got the next star in Terence Crawford, right? Spend the money on him, right? Because Terence Crawford's resume is not the greatest. Not the greatest at all. The best name on his record, Gamboa? Is that the best name on his record? What y'all gonna say, Ndongo? Who? Amir Khan? Chinless? Like, what is Terence Crawford doing right now in the sport of boxing at 32 years old? Y'all will say he's being ducked. Okay. The thing is, you guys don't understand is boxing is a business. But you conveniently leave that part out when it doesn't fit your narrative, right? Of course you do. So the next step for Terence Crawford is he should fight Kell Brook. And I've said this multiple times in previous videos. Why not fight Errol Spence's leftovers? Put his leftovers in a bag, zip them up, and be like, listen, it took you 12 rounds to beat this guy. I knocked him out in 2. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, do the same stuff that Pacquiao was doing to Mayweather's leftovers, right? Mayweather would beat him, you know, in decent fashion, and then Pacquiao would come right behind him and then just obliterate the dudes that Mayweather, you know, seemingly didn't beat easily or beat, but it wasn't in impressive fashion. So why not fight Kell Brook and beat him in impressive fashion, more impressive fashion than what, you know, Errol Spence did? You know what I mean? To me, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense to me. Terence Crawford prefers to, you know, have interviews with media talking about, yeah, when I retire, y'all gonna love me, y'all gonna respect me. Listen, he unified all the belts at 140. I give him his props for that, okay? But ultimately, what's gonna be the thorn in Terence Crawford's career is the fact that he's with Top Rank. And the fact that he's unable to make these bigger fights with the PBC guys. You know, whether you say the PB guys are ducking or the money's not right, he's not getting the fights that he needs for his legacy, right? I may or may not have seen an article earlier about, you know, Shawn Porter potentially being the mandatory for the WBO belt. Honestly, this is what Bob Arum should have did in the beginning, right? Because he controls the WBO belt. Why not, you know, rank Keith Thurman, Shawn Porter, these guys that are quote-unquote ducking Terence Crawford, rank them number 1 for the WBO. That way, if they don't want to negotiate or there's trouble making the fight, then that really looks bad on them. You know, I heard Keith Thurman wanted, $10 million to fight Terence Crawford? Ain't nobody paying Keith Thurman no $10 million. Counter offer him, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not rocket science. It's really not. And Terence Crawford's gonna be 35 years old, and he's gonna have a bunch of dead bodies on his record. You know, he's gonna have a bunch of bums on his record. While the one y'all used to love, Errol Spence, now y'all hate him, is going through the gauntlet right now over at PBC. already beat Shawn Porter, Kell Brook, about to have Danny Garcia on his resume, and it's all at 147. While Terence Crawford is just, picking up scraps. Had he dropped this promoter, maybe he'd be in a better position to make some of these fights. I recall before this pandemic, Shawn Porter was pushing for a fight against Terence Crawford, but the business was bad, man. Look, there was even talk of Terence Crawford fighting Manny Pacquiao, which is just insane because he moved over to PBC, and now he's going to negotiate with Terence Crawford and Bob Arum after he leaves the same, promoter as him. That doesn't make any sense to me. It makes zero sense. Again, the time is just ticking for Terence Crawford. He's got to get a big fight. He's got to get a big name at 147. I mean, the Jeff Hortons are not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it, bro. I mean, maybe, even Danny Garcia said none of these dudes are afraid of Terence Crawford. It's just bad business dealing with this dude. And your boy, Bob Arum. That's really what it is. Do I want to see Terence Crawford fight these guys? Absolutely, man. I wish there wasn't politics in boxing so we could get the fights we want to see. I wish. But to deny that the politics are super heavy when it comes to making these fights, you're being naive. But don't cry over spilled milk. Terence Crawford could fight. I'm sure Top Rank got some upper echelon bums he can fight next. But take the Kell Brook fight because, even though Kell Brook may be a little bit past his prime, he's still a big name. And, beating him in more impressive fashion than Errol Spence did would say a lot. I say. I would pick Terence Crawford. I mean, Kell Brook's a big welterweight. That's probably, he's a really big welterweight, man. So, there's no telling how that fight would go. If Kell Brook's eyes can hold up, if he's got a good training camp, it could be a close fight. But I just don't think Kell Brook's body's going to hold up against Terence Crawford. And the dude even said, Kell Brook had been fighting at 154. He said he just cannot make 147 anymore. So I'm assuming if right now he's training in anticipation he's going to fight Terence Crawford, he's killing himself to make weight. He's going to kill himself to make 147. And on fight night, he's going to look shaky, man. It's a shame. But, I wish Terence Crawford nothing but the best. I think he's a great fighter. It's just he hasn't been tested at 147 at all. Hopefully that changes soon. Hitman Boxing, drop a comment, like the video, subscribe. Do you guys like a Kell Brook Terence Crawford fight? My advice to Terence Crawford, stop offering these fighters nigga pennies. 1.5 million, that's nigga pennies, all right? Give Kell Brook that 3.5, 4 million. And get that name on your resume. Hitman Boxing, I'm out.